Okay, so welcome back. It is episode 5 of Loaded Balls, where the average golfer tests out, well, as many golf balls as we can in the weeks ahead and in the seasons ahead to find out what I consider to be best value, best performing, best overall in the end golf ball out there on the market for average golfers. Well, at least from my perspective anyway. So this week it is the Wilson DX3. A ball I've used quite a few times, the Wilson ball, over the years. Slightly different models, but quite familiar with the golf ball. Used the DX3 out in Almanara Resort again, where we did the majority of this testing. So again, very used to these conditions now. But before we go out on the course and see how the ball reacted, let's get stuck into some very basic information on the golf ball itself. So here we go. So it is a cast urethane outer cover. What else have we got? DuPont's HPF inner mantle layer provides velocity for maximum distance. 362 seamless dimple pattern, interesting enough. What have we got? It's a three layered ball. There's, in all honesty, a ball type, interestingly enough, there is it refers to it as being a distance ball. So interesting there that's how they describe this one. Very strange. But anyway, there's not a great deal of marketing behind this ball, which I think a lot of you will be pleased about. We don't like too many big marketing claims on the channel. It'll spin, it'll go longer and all the rest of it if you read through their information, but essentially they're not saying a great deal in terms of Wilson's marketing. Right, let's get out on the course anyway. We'll start off, as we always do, with the wedge into the green. Now this was Mac Daddy 4 wedge, 47 degrees, playing slightly uphill, slightly into the wind. So again, maybe a little bit of assistance in terms of spin there. First ball you see come in, it wasn't the perfect example to get some feedback for you. You'll see it's just stopped, it just about made the fringe of the green, or they just about made the green and spun off a tad onto the fringe. But the second ball that comes in, you really see it's at the flag and gets a real bit of action and fizzes right back off the green. So overdone in terms of spin there, but as I say, the sort of uphill into the wind maybe forced a little, and that extra bit of zip has just took that off. But you can see the ball has got, it certainly reacts on greens anyway. But the interesting bit, the next one for me, is the and perhaps where I saw most difference in the golf balls that I tested, to be honest with you. This sort of 30-yard chip into a green, lower ball flight, where you're looking to pick an area to land and expect the ball to check up and release consistently. And I think, again, one of the things that I was really impressed with the DX3 was exactly that. I played this ball, I said with all balls I played maybe 3 or 4 holes a minimum using across all clubs, but I played this across a couple of rounds, to be fair. And again, the reason I played it on a couple of rounds is because I really liked it, and I really liked it because it performed across a number of areas, and in particular in and around greens. I really liked the feel, but that's something we'll talk about later. But in terms of the reaction, in terms of spin and rollout, it seemed very consistent. I liked what it did, and as you can see from the 2 balls that I hit in there, more than happy with that. When we talk about putting, again, it's down to feel, and I say this every time about these tests are very subjective. You need to try the ball and you need to decide what you like in terms of feel that ultimately is sound and feedback into the hands with the putter. Once again, I like it. I like this ball, I like the feel, and I like the sound. Sometimes with the golf balls that I've tested, they're kind of, I like the soft feeling around the greens on the chipping. But I also like when you've got the putter in your hand, I just like, it's very hard to describe the feeling, I suppose, and that's why this kind of testing is subjective. I just like that little click, so it's not too soft off the face, and they've just, for me anyway, it's just about spot on, to be honest with you. That happy medium between all types of shots. And I think then you go into the longer game, and before we do that, let's get into the dry ball data. I mean, I've got to say one thing on dry ball data. When you're testing for these numbers, I've not seen massive differences. This is the 5th video in. I think there was a difference in ball speeds with the TP5. I've not really seen anything majorly different with the other balls as yet. So again, ball speed 92.7, spinning at 9th. This is the pitching wedge that I've got in front of you now. Spinning 9,300, real good spin number. And again, it didn't impact on the carry distance I would expect from that kind of swing, in and around 116 yard carry. So high spinning, but not impacting so much that the ball was literally coming back on itself. And again, with the 7-iron, same old tale for people who watch my videos regularly. I don't spin these things high. So in and around 5,000 spin, it kind of put it in there. It was acceptable for me. The 4.7 number there, you'll see, dropped it out significantly. And the 5.1 was about a level where I'd accept for me. Like I said, I don't achieve anything. The highest ball I've got spinning is up and around the 6,000 mark with 7-iron and this kind of testing on dry ball data. But for me, 5,500 spin would be a real good number. 5.1, it's maybe a little bit lower than I'd want. Just going back to those overall numbers in terms of carry distance again, ball flight again and carry distances from out there on the course. It seems to be where it has got soft feel, but it has got distance in the ball as well, and that's a good combination between the two. So, as ever, and we're going to end up with a bit of a leaderboard. A couple of people asked how these clubs' balls compare to one another. Well, this week we're going to end up with a leaderboard at last, or at least for next week's video, and a top 5. So, let's get into the numbers and start off, as ever, with the dry ball data. And for me, it's been, like I said, it's a difficult one. I would like to see the dry ball data just a little bit, that 7-iron, if I'd have got that up to the 5,500 spin, it would have got a 10 out of 10, because that 9.3 spin on pitching wedge is almost perfect. 9 out of 10 dry ball data. Feel for me, and again, I mentioned the word for me. This is all about, it's got to be very much down to personal preference, but for me that's the right balance between the strike off the club face on irons, to driver, to short game, and then onto the putter. All in all, it was a great package for me. I like what this thing sounds like, is what I will always say, and resonates then into feel. But a big deal with this golf ball, and it's the first one that's come along that I've really been looking for in terms of value. From what I've seen, I always do kind of an internet search, and there's a good point to mention here right now, by the way. When I was looking for the pricing structure, I went onto Wilson's website first of all, and I noticed that the DX3, it says Europe only. So Europe only is a DX3. As I understand, for other parts of the world that get the Wilson golf ball, I think it's the Wilson Duo ball. So in case you're wondering, yeah, Wilson Duo / DX3. And again, I only looked at UK pricing, but it's in and around, you can get this low 20s. We're gonna work on the base of it's 25 quid a dozen, but I think you can probably pick it up for better than that as well, to be honest with you. And for that value, for this ball, I'm going to score it the first 10 out of 10 in terms of value. I think that's it's a good price bracket to be in. There's certainly a lot of cheaper golf balls out there, don't get me wrong, but I think for me, you're getting a quality golf ball at a realistic price. So for me, 10 out of 10 in terms of value. And what that does, it gives us an average score, an overall score, a 9.25. And I think that makes it number 1 in my list of golf balls tested so far. And I think the value thing being the one that's really made a big difference. A couple of balls have performed very, very well indeed, but drop out because of the low value in terms of the high price tag. But for me, and again, just some added feedback from out there on the course, and like I said, I've played the DX3 on a number of occasions. I just think it's a great overall package. It works in all areas of the game, and it works consistently in all areas of the game, or it does for me at least. And then coupled with the price tag, I think that's what makes it the number one ball I've tested so far for that overall package. Anyway, another video done, another ball testing done. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thumbs up as ever. Comments down below. I always like to hear, and it's great for other golfers, I think, is that they're my opinions and they're my scores, and it's really, like I said, I use this word subjective all the time. Put your opinions down below if you've played the DX3, and then other golfers can perhaps read your comments. You might have different experience of the golf ball than I had, and then we get a more balanced view and not just mine. So that's comments down below, thumbs up, like the video, do all them things. Subscribe if you don't already, and thanks for watching. I'm wearing another cap from this Average Golfer range of caps, hats, t-shirts and a polo shirt. Stick with me, they're just trying to get it put up onto a website, and they will all be for sale. No doubt there's not going to be a mad rush, but they'll be for sale very, very soon. I'll keep you updated. I'll do a video as soon as they're all available. Right, that's me done. See you soon.